Now then, where are we? I'm heading to Morecambe bus station, stand 4, to get the bus to a place called Overton. And then from Overton I've got to walk over a tidal causeway to a place called Sunderland Point. I'll tell you a story about the tidal causeway later on, but I've got 45 minutes to get to Morecambe bus station before the bus comes. If I miss this bus I can't go because the next bus will get there too late. I've let that bus go because I've got enough time, I think, to get to Morecambe bus station. I've got 45 minutes before the bus comes, but if I think I'm not going to be able to make it, I'll just get a bus further down the route because they're every 10 minutes. As per usual, it's a dull day, but looking at my weather app, it says it's going to brighten up around about 12 o'clock and the high tide is at 1:45. Now this means I'm going to be stranded at Sunderland Point for 2 hours. I won't be able to get out. If the weather turns bad, I've only got my waterproof jacket and no waterproof trousers, but I'll be able to shelter somewhere. I'm also going to try a time lapse of the tide coming in. I've got an idea and I'll show you about that when I get there. If I get there, because if I miss the bus I won't be going. I'm not doing so bad. I've got about 15 minutes before the Overton bus is supposedly due, just round the corner. Should just make it. Oh, sweating now. I could have got the bus, made life easy, but I want to get my fitness up. I want to get my weight off, and this is a good way of doing it. Yeah, I'm cutting it fine. Right, I want bus number 5, which is this one, the 10:03 to Overton. It is now 2 minutes to 10. I don't know if you can see that, but it's on time. 4 minutes away. But what will be nerving is when I get on the bus and go down the prom, if the tide is coming in up to the shore, I'm just going to get off at Heysham and go around the power station, the jetties and things like that. I'm not going to waste my time cutting it too fine because I'm walking across and it's about a mile or so. Close. Right, I've got here on the bus, dithering about a bit, but not his fault. I've a gut feeling that I'm not going to be able to do this. When I was on the bus looking out into the bay, quite windy, and it's a 9.5 tide today, and according to Google Maps, from here to Sunderland Point it's a 43-minute walk. Now that's probably on the conservative side, I'd say, but I'm gonna have to make a decision. 1.5 miles to Sunderland. From here. I'm going to have to make an assessment when I get over the brow of this hill. Road liable to flooding. It's 1.25 miles along that way. Right, I've made a decision to go. I'm going to walk the fastest mile I've ever walked in my life. A lady passed in the car who must live there. She says the road is covered about 12 o'clock. It's now 5 to 11, but that doesn't stop you. If it isn't being midpoint, you're in trouble. When we came in the car, do not proceed, but these posts are in water, and they were just in water, and we proceeded and all was fine until we got over the corner. And then the tide was in. We had to turn back and down this area here There's nowhere to turn. We had to reverse. The water was coming in everywhere. Lost the front bumper and had a blowout in the back tyre. Eventually we found a spot where we could turn, and when we came back here to this end, this was in water, because it kind of goes like this, low and then low, and we just had to put our foot down and hit the water and we got through. But the car was an absolute write-off, absolutely terrifying. That is why I'm very apprehensive now. But there's no water coming in at the moment, but it comes in that end first. Just imagine being here, both sides of you, the water is on the road. Look how deep it is either side. And this, we got past here in the car. We got past here in the car, and the water was just coming to tip the top of this bridge, and we couldn't go any further. But when it's happening so fast, you panic, and you should have seen the speed the water was coming down these gullies. It was scary. I couldn't get it out of my head when I went to bed for quite a few nights of what could have happened. Right, I'm just doing a few shots. I had plenty of time. I was panicking for nothing. That's my personality. Always keep safe. Typically, there's no sun yet. But in the distance is the old boat wreck in the middle of the screen. I'm going to try and do a long exposure when the tide reaches round the boat wreck. Right, this is what I want to do. I want to put my GoPro maybe on this post here, filming outwards, and do a time lapse. I don't know if the tide will reach this high. I will ask a local if there's one around, and that should make a fantastic time lapse of the tide coming up over the road. I don't think I'll have enough battery power for it to go out, but you never know. I'll do a 5-second time lapse. The main reason I'm here today is for the tide to come around this boat and that boat, cover the grass, for me to try and get some long exposures. And also the time lapse, I'm going to try and see if I can find a local and ask them how high the tide will be. It's a 9.5, which is quite a high tide. The locals now, last few minutes, they're all making a dash for it, because otherwise they'll be trapped here for a couple of hours, like me. There he goes. This is my setup. I've got the power pack on and my old GoPro set at 5-second intervals, so that should run the tide coming in and going out. The only problem would be if it comes over here. I've lost my camera and my power pack, but the power pack was only £7. The camera isn't really worth anything anymore. It's got a crack in the back. So as you can see, it's beginning to encroach over the road. It comes up pretty fast now. I'm going to get a shot of this. I'll just get my camera. Just look how quickly that road is being engulfed. I've been waiting ages to do this, and it's perfect. The clouds are busy. Could do a little bit more sunshine, but you can't have everything. I have waited a couple of years to come here and to capture this time lapse coming in and going out. It should look absolutely fantastic. I'm going to have to move this because, can you see where it comes up to? And that, I would imagine, possibly engulf that post, or it'll be very, very close. What do I do? What do I do? There's still an hour to go before high tide. Right, I'm doing a 30-second exposure. I'll show you the picture afterwards. There's not a lot of movement in the water, not a lot of wind, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But look how much the tide has come in now. Amazing. And there in the distance, just in front of that blue boat to the right, is my little camera capturing the best ever time lapse that's ever been recorded at Sunderland Point. Right, the tide is going out slowly. I've had to put my hat on because of the sun, and I think I've got some absolute cracking photographs today. The sun's come out, nice clouds. Now I've got to wait maybe another hour, an hour and a half, so I can get back onto that road and walk across. It's amazing, isn't it? Look at that. Totally vanished. Totally vanished. So I'm going to make my way towards my time-lapse camera over there, have a sit down for a while, and hopefully if this time-lapse has worked and there's enough power in the power bank, the tide coming in and out, all the clouds moving, that should be an absolute winner. The tide's gone, as you can see. That is still running, so I'm going to stop it now. I'm going to wander back across to the other side, and my daughter's going to come and pick me up. Let's head back. Turned out to be a beautiful day in the end. Right, I'm walking back now.
Right, okay. Well, they're asleep, so I'll just get off and then I'll just park up.
I've absolutely loved it today. Absolutely loved it. The conditions turned out nice, but the main thing is I was on my own. I was taking pictures on my own, and I didn't have to think one little bit about somebody waiting for me. So it's answered the question. I'm going to have walking days when I don't really bother with photography, camping days when I have got the time, when I've pitched the tent up to do photography, and photo days when I'm on my own. So that is what I'm going to have to do. I've been fasting today. I've had nothing to eat whatsoever. All I've had this morning, 2 cups of cappuccino, and since then, until now, a litre of water. I do feel a bit hungry, I admit, but I'm not going to die. My mate's bumper. No. Well, look at them. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Right, a good day, but I've burnt my bonds and I've had to douse my head with my granddaughter's nappy cream. Ooh, it's sore. You couldn't make it up.